Welcome back to Lobotomy Corporation. I'm Grillmastah, and today we have Porccubus. Porccubus appears to be a giant flower, with its stem covered in multiple fins, kind of like a fish. The weapon and armor of Porccubus are right here on the employee, Delilah. They are both hay, and the weapon does black damage. When you send an employee in who is 3 around the board, instinct is high, insight is common, attachment is high, repression is common. The problem is, you don't want to send anybody 3 or below in temperance. Because if you do, when they complete the work with a good result, Porccubus kills them. When the trust game with Porccubus reaches maximum, Porccubus will gently pet your head with the thorns on its tail. They say the pleasure exceeds the amount of human can bear, but there is no one who can explain how it really feels. Escape Porccubus has a shackle-like necklace around its neck. Nobody knows who tied it up. Some employees who were addicted to pleasure tried to pull some of Porccubus's thorns out, but failed. When Porccubus escapes, it disappears out of its containment unit and goes to a random spot in your facility. If an employee who has temperance level 3 goes to fight Porccubus, that employee takes increased white damage compared to anybody else. And when they lose their mind, it's just like when they go into the abnormality. Their head explodes. Damage that is done too far away is not actually received by Porccubus, so you do not want to use ranged weapons like this. Like right now, the Aleph weapon is far away, so it's not doing anything to it. Porccubus is normal to red, normal to black. White is endured at 0.5, and pale is 1.5 to weak. So it's not hard to take down if you have good employees. You just have to make sure to stay in close, because the far away distance does not work. Once it is defeated, it turns into a little flower, burns away, and goes back to its containment unit. The story of Porccubus. Head explosion time. To be honest, daily life here is not so fun. The company says they promote healthy hobbies, but not many employees engage in that notion. Everybody has their own escape. Violence, gambling, eating. I thought I had a high level of discipline compared to others, and it helped me to live a smoother life. Maybe this is the reason why I was assigned to Porccubus. Yes, about Porccubus. Only the employees who live the lowest of the low are assigned there. I've heard what other employees do in that containment facility. They call it trust game. Trust game. What an elegant way to call it. Omitted. Employees who were here prior to gave me some precautionary tips. They told me it won't be difficult to become intimate with it. But once you do, you can easily get whatever you want. They said the right time comes. Porccubus will lean down, so I can get its thorns easily. It didn't take long until it welcomed me and allowed me to pet it. Omitted. When I first touched its thorns, I screamed because of how prickly it was. It felt like a giant needle just penetrated my skin. But it wasn't actually bleeding, and the pain went away. Then there it was, the most intense happiness you've ever experienced, that will make your knees wobble. Later, other employees came in to notify me of the end of my journey. I was drooling. The pleasure was so unfamiliar that I didn't go back for a while. However, it made the situation worse. You will start to have withdrawal symptoms, like puking or sweating. It's different for every employee. One employee even pulled out all of their teeth because they felt like small bugs were crawling all over their teeth. Feeling. There aren't enough words to describe it. Do you remember the happiest moment in your life? This feeling would be thousands of times better than that. I am the last employee of Porccubus. That's understandable, seeing as how the brain demands stronger stimulations. At first, all I needed to do was a slight stab of one of the thorns. Now I need to scrub myself with the thorns to get the same high. I feel like all the blood in my body will rush to my head, eventually bursting it. I've already imagined my head bursting thousands of times or more. I gotta go now. It's time to work again. Actually, I am drenched with sweat. Did you notice? By the way, one more thing. It's not what you think. Porccubus is not aggressive at all. It never tried to eat or bite our heads off. You mentioned that all the corpses were smiling happily, didn't you? That's all. It makes people smile until death. No one can be blamed. We are living in hell every day. It's just a taste of a small piece of heaven. You know what? I feel sorry for you. You've never felt these feelings, and you never will. But you have to interview an addicted employee like me when pretending to be decent as well. Now it's time for my head to burst. Good day. Management Tip 1. When the work result was good, wealth counter was reduced. From what I understand, this is actually incorrect. It is actually increased when you get good. I was looking on Wikipedia and trying for over 20 minutes to try to get it to escape via good, and it did not work. Management Tip 2. When the work result was bad, wealth counter was reduced. Management Tip 3. When the work result from employees with temperance level 3 or below was good, they were killed by the abnormality. Management Tip 4. Employees with temperance level 3 or below will receive massive white damage from the escaped abnormality's attack. Management Tip 5. The escaped Porccubus was not affected by the attack coming from outside its attack range. Instinct is high across the board, insight is common across the board, attachment is common across the board, and repression is low across the board. The weapon is fast, medium range, and does black damage, and is actually rather nice until you start getting WA or Olive weapons. The armor is 1.2 red, 0.8 to white, 0.8 to black, and 1.5 to pale. So you can get better pretty quickly, but it isn't too bad. The gift is 8% chance for a brooch, so that's not a bad one. At 10 SP, minus 6 success rate, and minus 6 work speed. So it is kind of at a cost with the SP. I actually prefer other brooches over this one. It has a wealth counter of 2, but it does seem rather hard to make escape because it did take me a while and I've not had it escape many times. It has 1 to red at normal, 1 to black at normal, 0.5 to white at endured, and 1.5 to pale at weak. And that has been Porccubus. Until next time.